First one is overwhelming love. How did it start? With this morning's quotation from Catherine Manfield in my daily calendar. Wind moving through the grass so that the grass quivers. This moves me with an emotion I don't even understand. That could have been it. I often have been moved to emotion by nothing. What's to understand? It is an overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude. The feeling persisted on an undefined current till I brought in the afternoon mail. The answer to a hasty letter to a long-distant friend arrived, a man I hadn't seen in 30 years. I would be visiting his state and had hoped to see him. His answer, loved your card, loved your intentions, love you. I was overwhelmed again with love. The letter went on. He would be permanently moved to another state one day, before I was to start my trip. But he offered alternatives. I called him. How overwhelming with love our conversation. Love continuing on its course. 3 o'clock in the same Florida afternoon, I would walk by the lake. Usually this is no time to be out in the sun and heat, but the air was miraculously cool, the sun shaded by the finest screen of clouds. I started out with a measured gait, full of love. I considered the sacred messages a friend and I were exchanging: love, being, wholeness, time. My thoughts were so expansive, I even considered the volatile nature of AIDS, which conceivably I now could have. A brave heart when danger seems remote. What if it were an actuality? What has changed? I am subject to death all the time. Is love that reckless? And I the victim of every danger? Am I less prepared for the danger of life when I'm in love? What is life worth without love? Overwhelmed with love, what a beautiful walk. Everything was expanding relevance. The way was usually empty. The way was totally empty of pedestrians. But I came upon 4 kids selling lemonade, 50 cents a glass. They asked me if I would like to buy one. I have no money, I said, and impulsively added, I'm more in need of a bathroom. I fended off further talk and walked on, overwhelmed with love and the need to pee. I found some bushes to relieve myself in. It goes without saying, the love remained. I started homeward. The kids were still out. Do you have any money now? One asked. Did you find a bathroom? Another asked. I found some bushes, I said, but I still have no money. I have this pen, I said, pointing to the pen in my pocket, and this notebook to write on. And my ID in case I have a heart attack and have to be identified. Are you an author? One asked. Yes. Are you writing a book? Yes, it very easily could be a book. Will we be in it? Well, right now you're not, but you could be. And I began to walk away. What is your name? One asked. I started giving them my name, but said instead, you'd have to have a very good memory to remember my name when this book comes out. I continued on my way. A short while later, I asked myself, will I be in a book they write? Oh, this life of celebration. There is not a grain of it that is not a gem of greatest value. This world of nothing and everything, this world of overwhelming love. That's the end of that book. Maybe I'll be able to read this stuff. Oh dear. A penny for your thoughts. Do you think of years as being something like the pickets of a fence stretching to a distance and keeping you in your place? Or like the heavy square-cut stones piled in diminishing layers to the top of an ancient pyramid? For a moment, think of each year as a penny, and 100 of them making a dollar bill. You are 29 cents old, or 50 cents old, or 78 cents old, 10 or 15 cents old, and you can't even buy a candy bar. Who is the hero you admire, or an event that makes a difference in your life? Debussy? 78 cents ago, he was engaged in song. Your parents or you might have known him. At least his echoes still were alive. Dickens? Scoop him up in the old curiosity shop, and for $1.26, he's yours. Shakespeare? $3.80, hardly enough to buy a blue plate special. And what a morsel he. Socrates? $23.95. Do you think he constitutes a bargain? Would you shell out hard-earned money for such a life? What earth-shaking event would loosen the money in your pocket? The Declaration of Independence? $2.20 for a new lease on life. The first permanent European settlement in America at St. Augustine for $4.31. You couldn't even buy a commemorative brick for your hometown centennial for that. The founding of Rome for $27.49. You get half the history of the world, and considering what inflation will do in a few years' time, it's practically free. The burning of the Library of Alexandria, $20.54. Put that amount in a vending machine and purchase a lost world. The invention of fireworks, about $13.50. What delight trailing through a night sky. What horror turning the modern world black. Light a sparkler for a kid. All these years are hardly more than a pocket full of change, the price of an evening's modest entertainment. Years of change that make all the difference in the world, but worth so little to you, even if you're not a rich man. Every event in your life that adds distinction or comfort to it is hardly more than the change you'd unbegrudgingly pass on to a beggar on the street. Mere pennies. What do you think God likens a year to? A grain of sand? Your life in sand wouldn't add a second to an hourglass. Your life as grains of sand in his pocket, and he wouldn't even know you were there. Sand isn't minuscule enough. Stars? Stars must be even smaller to God. Prettier. Those stars, no less than sand, would wreak havoc in a smooth-running chronometer. Molecules, atoms, does God even bother with these trifles? What a penny ante discourse this is. Do you have time for such nonsense? The small change for a petty interruption, grains of sand falling through the hourglass, pockets sagging with stars, gathering in a fourth or fifth dimension. Do you recollect the last time you recognized genius in the street or felt magic in the air? A penny for your thoughts.
Charles, one more short one.
It's one more. This is called The Flight of Our Father Icarus. A feather fluttered past his peripheral vision. So exhilarated was he, flying so high with wings of eagle's feathers, he almost didn't see it. He was catching up with the sun burning brilliantly in his sight. His speed, his height, was closing the distance on Apollo's golden chariot. A feather. He'd have thrown himself off his powerful pace if he tried to catch it. The feather, unaccountably drifting from an unseen bird, soaring nearby, though not as high. A feather, coincidentally so like his own cunning apparatus of wood, skin, feathers, and wax. Another feather fluttering. This time he saw it more clearly, while his elbow subtly bent with each stroke into the wind. Now he saw a feather disarrayed in the smooth spread wax. It spiraled loose and slipped away. Too late to catch it. What use to catch it anyway? Things seemed to be coming apart. Disconcerting. He felt he was dropping slightly. He lost his rhythm and his direction. He looked across his span of wings. The wax was surrendering its hold. The feathers were losing their layered sheen. He dropped lower. He had to slow down. His father's caution about flying too high flitted through his mind. Where was Daedalus, his father? Below and behind, flying steadily. Too late. The strain on the affixed feathers was too great. Wax. Why hadn't his father used pitch as he had suggested? Heavier, and it too would melt if warmed. Why hadn't he listened to his father's warning? Oh, his prowess and his strength beyond the capacity of those foreign to the materials. Lower, slower, too late. A formation of feathers flew away and he started to drop in a spin. Compensate, hold straight, too late. Feathers by the flock now were flying skyward past his sight. The speed, too late. He was falling, too late. He spread his arms. He tried to shuck his wooden wings. Too late. He felt the wind rushing fast. A feather, a last one. He grasped at it. Foolishness. Too late. He fell. He never had flown so fast. The exhilaration returned. Too late. The ground was coming up so fast. Too late. So soon.
Thank you.